To you, Mr. Levy, is about the incident that took place last night in Gaza, a hospital where there has been mass casualties. The Hamas has pointed a finger directly at Israel, saying this was an airstrike. The Israel government has said this was a misfired Hamas rocket. Can you tell us where things stand as far as that is concerned?
Thank you very much for having me on. Let me be clear. Israel did not strike the Al-Ahli hospital in Gaza. What happened last night is that Palestinian Islamic Jihad fired a rocket from inside the Gaza Strip. It fell short, like many of their rockets, and the shrapnel hit that hospital. The images that we are seeing inside the Gaza Strip of the damage from the hospital are truly shocking, and that is the result of a Palestinian Islamic Jihad war crime, firing rockets from inside densely populated areas and ending up killing their own civilians. Now, I don't expect the international media to accept everything that we say at face value, but the evidence is very clear. You know, last night, Al Jazeera broadcast in real time footage of the skies of Gaza, and you can see the volley of rockets taking off and then a rocket exploding mid-air, and immediately we see the crash on the ground. What we see on the image on the screens now is security camera footage from Netiv HaAthara, one of the villages that Hamas death squads destroyed in the October 7th massacre, and it shows that rocket falling short inside Gaza. The Israel Defense Forces, our army, have just released signals intelligence, a recording of a phone call between two Hamas operatives in which they discuss Islamic Jihad firing a rocket from inside a cemetery behind a hospital, and that is what fell short and killed all those people inside the Gaza Strip. The images are truly shocking, and it's important that the world be clear. This was the result of Palestinian Islamic Jihad firing from inside civilians, killing their own civilians, and we hold Hamas and Islamic Jihad solely responsible for all the horrific civilian casualties in the Gaza Strip.
Mr. Levy, a secondary question to that is there are some observers, and these are early hours yet. Nobody has had a chance to get to the site firsthand to investigate what had happened. The Israel government has said this was a misfired rocket. There are some experts who believe a rocket couldn't have caused this kind of an explosion. It had to have been something else. How would you defend against that? Because rockets cause a certain degree of damage. There are videos doing the rounds which appear to suggest, according to some experts, that it was an airstrike. It's now become a claim versus counterclaim sort of battle based on video footage.
There is no claim or counterclaim. Hamas claimed immediately that this was Israel, presented absolutely zero evidence. Let's remember, Hamas is the ISIS-style terror organization that perpetrated the October 7th massacre.
Yes.
There is substantial evidence, the recording of the Hamas terrorists, the footage from the security cameras, the live footage from Al Jazeera showing that this was a misfired rocket from inside the Gaza Strip. And it's important that everyone in the international media set the record straight and explain that what happened yesterday was an Islamic Jihad war crime that ended up killing people inside the Gaza Strip. And we hold Hamas and Islamic Jihad responsible for that tragic loss of civilian life. And it's important to continue gathering the evidence. It's all there. It's all available on the internet. It took Israel a while to complete its initial investigation. That's because we are a democratic state with a professional army. We don't make things up like the Hamas terror organization, which perpetrated the October 7th massacre. But the evidence is there for everyone to see. This was an Islamic Jihad rocket that misfired, hit that hospital, and killed all those poor people.
Mr. Levy, how is Israel explaining or defending against, collateral damage in Gaza? What happened on October the 7th, is widely believed to be something that the Israeli government must act against, because the protection of civilians and citizens is the job of the state, and Israel is well within its rights to respond against Hamas. But about civilian deaths, the numbers that have been coming out of Gaza, how does Israel defend against that? Because there is global pressure now as well.
Thank you for recalling the October 7th massacre. It is important to remember that Israel has not only a right, but a duty to respond to what was the world's worst terror attack after 9/11. 1,400 Israelis are now dead, 4,000 injured, 200 are still hostages inside the Gaza Strip. Now, we don't want to see any civilian casualties. We don't want to see people being hurt, and that is why Israel is taking all steps that it can to minimize civilian casualties. That is why, for example, Israel has been urging residents of the northern Gaza Strip to evacuate to the south of the Gaza Strip, where humanitarian aid can be delivered. Now, why are we doing that? It's because Hamas has embedded itself deep inside civilian areas, inside schools, inside hospitals, inside community centers, inside people's homes. And those are legitimate targets for our military to destroy Hamas's military machine. But in order to reach these Hamas targets, in order to reach the terrorists who perpetrated the October 7th massacre and not hurt civilians, we're asking the civilians to get out of the way temporarily for their own safety to areas where they can receive humanitarian aid. And we expect the international community to help with evacuating the people of Gaza from northern Gaza for their own safety, temporarily, until the fighting is over. There is going to be difficult fighting in northern Gaza because that is where Hamas has based itself under people's homes. We don't want people to be hurt.
Yes.
That is how we are acting as a responsible democratic country.
Mr. Levy, if the Hamas is using its tried and tested tactics of using human shields, embedding, its fighters, its rocket positions, its ammunition depots, etc., in civilian establishments like hospitals and schools, how does that affect the calculus within Israel of choosing to conduct airstrikes? Because then the possibility of civilian casualties increases manifold.
Israel has made a strategic decision. We can no longer live next to a terrorist organization that perpetrates the brutalities of the October 7th massacre. The beheadings, the butcherings, the burnings, the evidence of children who were tied up and shot, the torture. We will end Hamas. We will destroy Hamas's military presence because we cannot exist with this ISIS-like terror organization meters away from our homes. That is legitimate, and that is something that the whole world has recognized we have a right and a duty to do, to dismantle Hamas. Now, we don't want civilians in the Gaza Strip to be hurt. The images we saw yesterday on the TV screens from the Islamic Jihad rocket that hit the hospital are really heartrending. But in order for people not to be hurt, we are asking them to evacuate. Now, I'll remind you, on Friday morning, the IDF asked the people of northern Gaza to evacuate south and gave them 24 hours. What day are we now? And there still hasn't been an Israeli ground operation. We're giving them time. We're giving them time. We're working with our international partners to create humanitarian frameworks in the south of Gaza where they can receive humanitarian aid because we want civilians to be safe. Let's remember, Hamas has also taken the people of Gaza hostage as well by subjugating the Gaza Strip to its terrorist regime and its plans to destroy the state of Israel and kill Jews wherever it can find them. That is something that we will no longer allow them to do. And that's why, yes, it will be difficult. Yes, it will be painful. But we are going to destroy the Hamas military machine in the Gaza Strip because we can never allow a massacre like happened on the 7th of October ever to happen again.
India's #1 political reporter.
Defines what seems to be happening, vendetta politics. कोई दूध के से धुला हुआ नहीं है.
Unmatched eye, unmatched experience.
The world has changed. My black hair has become grey as well.
And with unmatched passion for the story.
Do not monopolize the conversation.
When it's 100% news that matters. It's News Today with Rajdeep Sardesai. Monday to Friday, 9 p.m. Only on India Today TV.